Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, April 1st. Friendly reminder, the markets are closed on Friday for Good Friday. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And then also for you Bitcoin traders out there, I will be doing a bonus analysis at the very end. A couple quick disclosures here. First off, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. Ticker symbol number 1, NKLA. Been tracking this one very routinely. And once again, higher highs and higher lows. The uptrend continues, so definitely updates need to be done. Go ahead and get rid of that level. First key update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So the newest level of support would be up there at the 94.5 cent mark. From an overarching standpoint, though, as far as support is concerned, just continue to watch that purple line right there. And that being the 50-period moving average, as the name implies, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So it's essentially like a trend line that's drawn itself for you. So as long as the price stays above the overall trend line, then by definition, the uptrend remains in the bullish direction in the bull's favor. In terms of areas of resistance, I will say there seems to be a very apparent level now that has established itself after today, now that we have plenty of data. In fact, let me just zoom in now that you can see the overall trend. But that key area of resistance right there at $1.05, you can see several times there, rejected. I did get above it once right there, but then quickly rejected back down. So $1.05 will be public enemy number 1 next week, but all things considered, the uptrend remains fully in the bull's favor. Next one, BDRX. Nice looking pattern here, so let's get this drawn into play. So we have the top part of the pattern. We have the bottom part of the pattern. Let me change that to green because that is the support portion. And then maybe make this easier to see. Let's keep it all one color now. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the huge explosion right there. If you golfers out there try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's bull, it does not mean it's guaranteed to go upwards, but it's more than valid to think that the price could make a surge upwards. And from a pattern standpoint, again, no guarantees, but more than valid to think that the price comes up to the top part of that pattern, breaks up through it, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure. So if you like stocks down below the $5 mark, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, MARA, very, very nasty move on. Well, matter of perspective. If you're some sort of day trader and you bought the resistance break right there and you scalped out on the move upwards somewhere around there, yeah, fantastic day for you. But if you were looking for a bigger picture move, I mean, yeah, at this point, you're feeling fantastic, but that thing has completely rolled back over and essentially gone right back to where it started because the day started right around this area, give or take a little bit, and you can see now where the price is essentially right back to where it was. So from a big picture point of view, is a chart destroyed? No, I mean, the overall chart still in an uptrend, but looking at today, just in isolation, yeah, not a good day at all. Assuming, like I said, that you care about more so the big picture point of view. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level because now from a support standpoint, the key level that I just keep a very close eye on going into next week right there, that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So you'll want to watch that closely. If the price does try to work its way back upwards, in all actuality, you got a pretty steep, nasty-looking trend line right here. So keep an eye on that. And if the price can push through there, then yeah, there will still be more work that needs to be done, but that would be a step in the right direction. So all things considered, today, individually, not a good-looking day, but bigger picture chart-wise, their overall pattern is still in the bullish direction. And what I mean by that is, like I said, that was a terrible line. We got to try that again. So if we just look at the pullback here and then consider the overall, past couple of days, what we have would be a bull flag pattern. Next one, PLTR, and just a brutal, brutal day. Not necessarily because it was such a red day, but because the price broke down below what I would have considered a very key, very important level of support right there at the $24 mark. But you can see right there, it had done a good job of providing support. But price went down there during the opening 30 minutes right there. It broke down through it, which just really opened up the floodgates. So that'll be, an area you'll want to watch on any sort of bounce back. But in more so the near term, key level of resistance, if there is any sort of attempted bounce back upwards, in my opinion, right there around $23.30. And then in terms of areas of support, I'll change that to green to represent support. Key level to watch moving forward. Did it hit today? Got very, very close. But right down there at $22.90. This is coming from back here. If you look through the history of things, the price was down here and did a good job of finding support. And then once again, the power of charts came down there. Didn't hit exactly, but hopefully we can all agree, got very close and held strong. And as I speak now, I'm going to zoom in here, but just keep in mind that's where that green line is coming from. But as I speak right now, you can see the price is once again nearing that level. So that'll be the big question mark going into next week. Is that level there going to be able to hold? Is the price about to fail? And if so, does that open up another round of downwards momentum? We'll have to see what happens with it. But yeah, no doubt about it. Not a great way to end the week for PLTR. Next one, AMC, and another very, very rough way to end the week. I mean, especially when you consider that just yesterday, good solid move up, actually broke above that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. So at that point, it was very valid to say, okay, it's breaking out. Is this getting ready to go on a bigger move? And then just like that, nasty gap down, and the price continued on down. So anyway, look at it, just a brutal way to end the week. In terms of levels of support, very basic question here. Where did the bleeding finally stop today? And that finally stopped down there right around that $3.65 mark. In fact, several times. So you can see right there, bleeding stopped, try to bleed again, stopped, again, stopped. So if the price rolls back down, does that mean for sure guaranteed it'll bounce back upwards? Of course not, but it has happened 3 times already. So, that's where the question becomes, can it do it for a 4th time? So if you like to play those sorts of scenarios, keep an eye on 365. In terms of levels of resistance, main battleground that I would say to keep an eye on is going to be this area of, little miniature resistance trend line right there. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, like I said, interesting last 30 minutes. Give some credit where credit's due. The bulls are trying to come back to life again. You can see nice little volume in here. So can this continue? Can it push up through that trend line? We'll see what happens. Maybe a bigger tight bounce next week. But yeah, as far as just the overall chart, rough way to end the week. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. Now, one special note, it is a live event, and it's a genuine live event. So a couple of scenarios. Maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning or sometime, and you just flat out missed it. Then go ahead, send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. But if you can make it live, then go get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one, ticker symbol AKBA, and just a train wreck of a day today. Gapped up and then basically straight down all day long. It did finally start to go sideways, and where it went sideways is what, in my mind, makes it very interesting next week. And maybe you've already noticed, but what a coincidence. Again, the power of charts. So I'll turn that into another quick plug. Go get signed up for that free webinar or send me an email. Charts, are they a perfect tool? No, but they're certainly very valuable. And here's an example. What a coincidence that as it dropped, all of a sudden it started to go sideways right there at that pink line. Again, that famous 200 period moving average. So the premise moving into next week is quite simple. Is this finally some sort of bottom? Is this thing going to bounce? If it doesn't, well, then that's why risk management matters. But from a risk versus reward scenario, what you're risking relative to what you could potentially get if this thing does get a bounce, is very much so in your favor. And it makes sense that it could bounce because it's gone sideways. It's at the 200 period moving average. Nice green candle here this final 30 minutes. Again, do those 3 things guarantee it'll bounce? No, but does it become a little bit more probable? Does it give you somewhat of an edge? In my mind, absolutely. So if you like these sorts of scenarios, keep an eye on it. Next one, NIO, and this one is really just a basic premise. It did bounce nicely right there, but is now essentially rolled back over. So what I'm very curious about, and once again, going back to the whole idea of risk reward. So, what's being risked, assuming you can be disciplined compared to what you might get if it bounces right there at the 445 mark. Very, very interesting. Whoops. Change that to green for support. And the reason why is, well, because this is an area where it's bounced before. Actually, once, twice, 2 times the price has gone down area and it's bounced. So does it come down there and bounce again for, time number 3? Not guaranteed, but a more than plausible situation to look at. So if you like to play these sorts of circumstances where you get that good little risk reward scenario, then I'd certainly keep an eye on NIO. Next one, TLRY, and I've talked about this several times before, but I want to bring up the talking point again. There have been many, many pullbacks along the way. So you can see, no, you can't see that because it's behind my ugly mug. There we go. You can see right there, pullback. Right here, pullback. Right here, pullback. Right there, a miniature pullback. and right here a pullback. Now, all these pullbacks have occurred above that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. In other words, the trend is still in the bull's favor. I understand it'd be great if something can go straight up every single day, but that's just not the reality of the markets. Things need a pullback, which brings the question, well, is this a healthy pullback? Is this something I should be worried about? And in my opinion, at least, as long as the price stays above that purple line, then I would just chalk it up to a healthy pullback, as I just demonstrated there by looking at things from the bigger picture point of view. And it's really just that straightforward. And now I realize if you're a day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 3 minutes, well then yes, from that perspective, the chart looks really bad. But assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, even with the pullback today, as you saw there, the trend is still very much so in the overall upwards direction. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And overall, a rough day, not a terrible day, but I'm going to go ahead and make some adjustments. Yes, this level up here does pertain, but I would say we now have a more relevant area of resistance right here at the 177.65 mark. So keep an eye on that next week. If the price does try to curl itself around, that'll be where essentially the first question mark resides is, can the price push up above there? Especially when you look closely, you also have the 50-period moving average right there, purple line. So in some senses, it's a double whammy of support. So keep an eye on that, double whammy of resistance. And then in terms of areas of support, as I've talked about in the past, that pink line there, which you've already seen, can do a good job of providing support. So if the price comes down to that area, very logical to think the price could bounce above that level. But also if the price does not bounce above it, then that would be a signal that, the bulls are starting to lose control and the bears are gaining that much more strength. So going into next week, like I said, 177.65 key area of resistance, and then that 200-period moving average key area of support. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to go up, this one will also go up. It just makes it a very popular ETF. It allows people in at lower price levels. And nothing really different than what I talked about previously. And if you didn't watch any previous videos, and again, here we have the power of charts, you'll know that I've been talking about that purple line there as resistance. And wouldn't you know it today, check it out. Resistance, resistance, resistance. So nothing has changed in that regard. That purple line suspected to act as resistance, and that's exactly the role played today. So going into next week, the question just becomes, can the price finally, maintain momentum? So it's not like it's struggled to necessarily get above it. I mean, it slightly got above it on a few different occasions, but the problem is every single time it did that, it's like somebody just switched off the momentum and back down the price went. So that's going to be the main question from that angle is, okay, yeah, the price can, break above it by a few cents here or there, but in terms of establish and maintain that momentum, that's where it struggled. If the price does come down, then yeah, as I've talked about already, but hopefully you've seen the importance of it on the past stocks, that pink line down there, the 200-period moving average, which we once again have another classic example. Look at that. What a coincidence that big old move bounced from right there. So charts definitely work, and go get signed up for that class. And as I was just saying, sign up for the class, the top 10. Now, if you Bitcoin traders, stick around here in a second. But if you stock traders, go get signed up. It'll be this evening, Thursday, March 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So go get signed up, and I'll see you there in just a few hours. But if you can't make it, then like I said, go ahead, drop me an email to clay@claytrader.com. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification, we are no longer looking at the 30-minute time frame. We are looking at the 4-hour time frame. Given Bitcoin is open 24/7, I want this analysis right now to be relevant for as long as possible, and the 4-hour time frames allows us to do that. So for those of you that watched the previous video, then nothing really new here to report. That level right there, which I talked about, and I wanted to differentiate as resistance. You can see that has been rejected both there and then right there as resistance. So right there at the 71, basically we'll call it 500 mark, remains at near-term area of resistance. Now over the weekend, if the price can come up and push up through there, then the overarching level, and more so what I've been calling a resistance zone, is up here from 73,000 to 73,800. So that'll be, that's kind of the granddaddy. That's the key to unlocking even another surge of momentum as it breaks the highs. But my point is, before you even focus on the granddaddy level up there, first got to see, can the price even break through that level right there at 71,500? If there's any sort of pullbacks over the weekend, then has been the case, as I've talked about several times, you have that nice upsloping 50-period moving average. But for more so the important level, watch that 200-period right there, which again, classic example. Look at this thing. Beautiful, beautiful example. Charts really are a valuable tool. So like I said, depending on when you watch it, I don't know, maybe you're watching this Sunday afternoon, for example, and if the price is, crashed down below both these levels, that would tell you that Bitcoin is not having a good weekend and the bears are picking up strength. And then of course the opposite is true too. If the price is above any of these areas of resistance when you're watching this, that would tell you that Bitcoin is having itself a very strong weekend. Now, I know I invited the stock traders to join, but what I teach can and definitely should be used in the world of crypto and Bitcoin too. So you are also invited. So definitely go get signed up. It'll be this evening, Thursday, March 28th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you can't make it live for whatever reason, then yes, go ahead, send me an email, clay@claytrader.com. But hopefully I'll see you there live in just a few hours. If you appreciate these top 10 videos, if you enjoyed Bitcoin at the end, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend and have a great Easter.